the healthcare market definitely has seen a pullback as a whole. And so I think in these types of situations, a lot of the growth or decline in your business is going to be based on. What's up, vlog? This is Colby Wood. It is a Wednesday morning, and I'm headed to a surgery center with a couple of shoulder scopes today. Anyway, I was having a text conversation with a guy yesterday, and he was asking me about selling in during this COVID situation and how that's changed things. And he's like, he was asking me if I was going to make content about selling in this environment. And I honestly told him, I'm like, look, dude, I don't know that I've got any secrets or tips that you and everybody else isn't going to already be doing, and it's not that we as a company are actually growing because we're taking market share, but we're also in a, the healthcare market definitely has seen a pullback as a whole. And so I think in these types of situations, a lot of the growth or decline in your business is going to be based on, in my opinion, is going to be based on what the market as a whole is doing. And I don't know, there's debate clearly on how much of an impact a sales rep has on the business. Now, obviously it's something, but the sales rep is not the key to 100% of the business, right? And that's clearly shown because they've looked at when sales reps leave a territory and go to a competitor, really only, in my understanding of the data is, or the limited, I think, research that's been done on it, is only about 30% of their business goes with them. So clearly sales reps have an impact, but they also are not the whole story. And so what is most important? What is making the most impact? Is it, the product itself? Is it the company? Is it the market as a whole? And, how much of it is the sales rep, etc., on how your business is going to do? Obviously, at some level, it's control what you can control. That's kind of how I think about it as a sales rep, but also that's why I recommend, especially being new to the business, or if you are new to the business, try to get in with an established company, because how do I say it? When you don't really understand the business, and maybe you're new to sales, or at least medical sales, you don't want to be put in a position where the vast majority of the growth of the business is reliant on you, right? Whatever that percentage is, the company, the product, and you as the rep, as far as a three-way factor of what's the most important in growing the business. Well, if you're with a smaller company, or a company that doesn't have the best technology, or a company that is a startup company or something like that, the vast majority, or in those scenarios, the vast majority of the business growth is going to be on the rep, and the rep getting the product in front of more customers and demonstrating what its real value is and the technology that's there, because the customers that are out there are not necessarily going to know about you or your product and what it can do at this time. If you're a well-established company, it's much easier to be able to get the word out about new products that you launch and things like that. And so, you don't want to put a ton of emphasis on you as a new sales rep to be the key to making this thing work. And so that's kind of how I think about it. And in the kind of the environment we find ourselves with COVID, I don't really have magical tips that you're not already going to know. I'm limited on the places that I can go call on. Doctors are not frequently setting up lunches and meetings and product demos with reps at this time. Now, I've done a handful of them, but not nearly as many as I normally would. And, that sucks. That's annoying. That's a problem. That is top of the funnel for me. That is trying to grow the brand, grow the awareness. So then it's a lot of cold calling physically on the phone, calling into doctors' offices saying, hey, I've got a cool product. We're a new company. does your doctor meet with vendors at this time? Are you guys doing meetings? Would you take information on this product, etc.? It's emails. It's searching the URL and putting it into kind of an email finder to try to figure out the email addresses of people I'm trying to get in touch with. It's using LinkedIn to find the people, and not everybody's on LinkedIn. Not every doctor is on there. Not every customer is going to be on there, but a lot of them are. Using that as a tool. It's finding them on different social media platforms. A lot of people use Twitter. There's a doc that I was actually doing cases with yesterday. He's big into cycling, and so he and I now we follow each other on Strava. Strava is the kind of like the cycling app that pretty much everybody uses. Like there's a few others, but that's primarily where it lives. And so then he can see, like assuming he uses his Strava, so I'm assuming he gets on there and looks, like he'll see when I do a ride, or I'll see when he does a ride, and that's like a good way to grow the business. But using things like that, like is there a doctor that you're trying to find that, if I'm into cycling and I search and find a doctor that's on there that, apparently is into cycling, can I start following him there? And is that a lead gen opportunity? It's getting creative about the ways in which you and I can get in front of customers when it's much more difficult to physically walk into their location. So I don't feel like I have any, I haven't made anything in particular because I don't feel like I have any useful tips. I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out, and it's just the weighting of how much time do I spend physically cold calling, or how much time do I spend emailing, or how much time do I spend on LinkedIn, or any of the other ways to try to get in front. Like, that's all it is. It's not like there's a new line of communication that's opened up. It's that it's more difficult to get in front of them, and that's, it is what it is, but it's that way for everybody. And I think as I say this to you, and as I think about it, I was talking to a guy a couple weeks back, and he worked for a company that I worked for in the past, and they are not the market leader, and they have a handful of really good, unique products in the market, but a lot of their products are commodity. But the biggest thing in my mind is that, and I've said this on other podcasts, but you have to be pitching the most differentiated product you have. And the most differentiated product you have is likely not going to be, like, you're going to have a relatively small amount of customers that want to use that completely unique product, right? But it snaps people out of their day-to-day mundane situation. Like, you need something to trigger, like, oh, it would be worthwhile for me to look at that product. It would be worthwhile for me to take a meeting with that sales rep. You can't be selling, you can't be trying to push and trying to, if you're reaching out by email or LinkedIn or something like that, and you're like, hey, check out my widget, and the widget that you're trying to pitch is a Me Too product or a relatively Me Too product. Nobody's going to care. You have to be pitching something that is completely unique. And I recognize that you're not going to get 5 out of 10 people that say, hey, I'll take a look at that. But you might get 1 out of 10. You might get 2 out of 10 even. But you have to be pitching the most unique product. That's the only way you can break through the noise. That's the only way you're going to break through, is pitching something unique. You can show them the Me Too product later. You can ask for them to give you a shot with your Me Too product later. But you can't use that as your entryway in. Nobody's going to give you the time of day to look at the same thing over and over and over. There's a book called The Purple Cow by, I'm blanking on his name. Hold on. What is Purple Cow? I mean, he's done a bunch of books. Marketing guy. Crap. Why can I not think of this guy's name? I'm blanking on it. Either way, there's a book called The Purple Cow, and he's talking about marketing, and he's driving through, and I think he's in like Massachusetts or something like that. I don't remember the exact location. He's driving through it with his wife through these fields, right? And they're just passing these farms, and like cow farms, or whatever the term is, and it's like rolling hills, and it it's beautiful out there, but they're just passing by these cows standing in the field. And he's like, the gist of the book, you really don't even need to read the book. You just read the title and you understand what it is. The only thing that would grab his attention while they're driving by is something like a purple cow, right? You're just seeing cows and cows and cows, and they all look the exact same. The only thing that's going to snap him out, that's going to grab his attention, is like, what if they were driving by and there was a cow that was purple, right? Like, oh, what is that? That is what you're looking for when you're emailing, when you're LinkedIn messaging, when you're cold messaging somebody, when you're trying to get somebody's attention. Now, I guarantee, like, I have over 200 people in my cold call list, right? Step one of the sales process. Prospecting / cold call, right? I have over 200 people in there, and I guarantee you, especially the ones that I've, messaged 5, 6, 7, 8 times, they've seen my emails. They've seen my LinkedIn messages. They've seen the material that I've dropped off at their account. Their assistant that I've talked to asking about setting a meeting, I'm sure has communicated to them, and they've turned it down, right? It's not that they haven't seen the purple cow, right? They probably have seen it. It probably got their attention. It's unlikely that every effort I've made has not actually gotten across to them the product information that I was trying to get across, right? It's unlikely that in my multiple attempts, they have not yet seen my product. Whether it's in the email, in the LinkedIn messages, in the brochures that are dropped off, in the information that I sent to their assistant or something like that. It might have been a purple cow, right? They might have seen the brochure that I dropped off, like, oh, that's interesting, that's new, that's different, but I'm not interested in that at this time. And that's fine, right? Like, fair enough. But I need to be dropping off something that says, oh, what is that? Oh, that's different. That is what you need. And that's why if you are trying to figure out, especially in this day and age, I think it exaggerates it even more. You can't be dropping off a widget that is more or less the exact same thing. You're going to get nowhere. You're going to get nobody that says, ooh, look at that. Ooh, that looks like the exact same widget that I'm using. I should probably give that person the time of day to come tell me why theirs is like 3% better. Like, nobody's going to do that. So it's a little bit of a rant, but I feel like that's probably the best I can do as far as recommendations in this environment and in the COVID situation. In the car, driving to the account, 2 shoulder scopes, and then I've got another account that I've got to run to and check on their inventory for some upcoming cases. So I will check back with you all later. All right, folks, walking out of the surgery center now, a couple of shoulders down. They apparently had an issue on the first one with the device not working properly. It's kind of part of the job of dealing with product complaints, product issues. They didn't save the device for me, which usually that's the objective, is you save it, and then I would then send it back to our company and they can look at it and see if it was, let's say, user error, or there's actually a problem. So that's the best I can do is take the lot number off of the box that it was pulled from, but I can't send the device back directly. So anyway, that's kind of a routine thing that most sales reps have to deal with. If there's product issues, product complaints, whenever possible, you take the actual device, put it in a biohazard bag, and then ship it back to the to your company for them to look at it and see if it's a manufacturing error or whatnot, so that if there's a recall that needs to be done, they can do it. Anyway, it's hot in this car. I am done here, and I'm starving, so it's lunchtime, and it's probably coffee time, and then time to try to go grow the business. We'll see how this goes. All right, vlog. I finished up the day, got home, played with the kids for a few minutes, and now it's going out for a group ride, 6 p.m. group ride. We're gonna do about 27 miles. I think we averaged last week, like, I don't know, 22 miles an hour or something like that. So not too bad. Anyway, just cruising along. Cruise down the street in my 6'4". Is that the words? Anyway, this is another day in the life of a medical sales rep.